The first episode of Inside Lines in 2021 is here. Deja vu for INDYCAR all over again in St. Petersburg. A new driver is making his way into the Cup Series. And be careful what you say and do on social media, because it might just cost you your job. What is up? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of Inside the Lines. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the new intro, a new theme song for 2021. If you haven't already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. More content on this show really does mean a lot. Let's start off 2021 on a good note. But we start off with some news, starting with INDYCAR. Now, INDYCAR was already going into 2021 with a schedule that, let's just say, didn't work in their favor. The season was supposed to begin on March 7th on the streets of St. Petersburg, and then they will get a 1-month break. April 11th will be the next race at Barber Motorsports Park. Well, this time you can probably thank COVID-19 for this. INDYCAR has announced that they will be postponing the Streets of St. Petersburg race until April 25th, moving into the second race of the schedule. Now, if you remember, INDYCAR, they were in a similar situation last year when they also postponed the race of St. Petersburg until the final race of the season, I believe around September or October. Now, the difference between these two situations is that last year's event got postponed 1 or 2 days before the actual race was supposed to take place. This time is about 2 or 3 months before the race was scheduled to take place. Now, when you think about it, this is actually a blessing in disguise. Again, the INDYCAR schedule had a 1-month break between the two races, March 7th and April 11th at St. Petersburg and Barber Motorsports Park. With St. Petersburg now moving to April 25th, that will make Barber Motorsports Park the season opener on April 11th. 2 weeks later, we go to St. Petersburg, and then a week after that, we will have a doubleheader at Texas Motor Speedway, and then the Indy Road Course, and then the Indianapolis 500 on May 30th. So the revised schedule sort of keeps INDYCAR's momentum at the beginning of the season, whereas if the original schedule was supposed to take place, more than likely their momentum would have been stalled out completely. I mean, having one race and then a 1-month break, that just kills your momentum. You need to be able to start off running, start off going strong. You can't just start and then stop. Kills your momentum. So it's good on one side when you take a look at INDYCAR and its fan base and its momentum for the start of the season, but it's also good for the fans, drivers, and teams. Again, we go back to last year. It was announced 2 days or so before the race was scheduled to take place. That means fans came to the racetrack expecting a race and then end up going home. This situation is completely different. Now, you've got 2 months to prepare. A lot of race fans, when they go to a race, they plan their schedule around that race. So let's say, okay, March 7th, the original race. Okay, let me schedule my events around March 7th so that I have time to go to the race. Well, now it has been changed, but you still got a 2-month break. You still have a 2-month window. So now you can still plan. Unlike, let's say, if it was March 5th, you go to St. Petersburg and they announce it's postponed, that sort of kind of screws your weekend. Now you've got time to prepare, fans got time to prepare, drivers have time to prepare, as well as teams and basically everyone involved in INDYCAR. So overall, this is a very good decision from INDYCAR, and let's just say they got themselves out of a pickle because that original schedule plan was not going to end well in terms of interest and viewership, ratings-wise. It was just not going to end well. So I don't want to say it, but thanks, COVID? I don't know if that sounds right. I mean, let's be honest, if COVID didn't happen, we probably would have gone through with the original schedule, so yeah, thanks, I guess. Now on to our next story. It revolves around Hendrick Motorsports. Now, earlier, a few weeks ago, it was announced that HMS has hired Chris Monez to be the spotter for Kyle Larson and the number 5 team. At first, I didn't think much of it. I don't think a lot of people thought much of it. It was like, okay, it's a spotter, who cares? But then later on, some stuff came out about Monez's history in terms of his likes and his tweets on social media. And that ended up costing his job. We're going to first go over the tweets, but first, let's announce entirely that Chris Monez has now been fired from Hendrick Motorsports and will not spot for Kyle Larson. And the reason why is we don't know exactly which tweets, but we have an idea. It's these 2 tweets that he either liked and or replied. Now, if you can tell by his likes history, he is a Trump supporter. Now, that doesn't matter. I really don't care if you're a Trump supporter. But it was this tweet that he liked from the president that really got on my nerves and a lot of other people's nerves. Now, you know the deal between Bubba Wallace and Donald Trump. Trump said this tweet. He goes, has at Bubba Wallace apologized to all of those great NASCAR drivers and officials who came to his aid, stood by his side, and were willing to sacrifice everything for him, only to find out that the whole thing was just another hoax. That and flag decision has caused lowest ratings ever. Now, that tweet is just completely false. It just is. I mean, there's nothing right about that statement. Now, what's weird about this is that Chris Monez liked that tweet. Now, the thing is that if a random Joe were to like that tweet, that wouldn't matter. But I think it means a lot more when one of your own from the garage likes that tweet. I mean, when you think of the NASCAR garage, spotters, crew chiefs, team members, drivers, it's sort of like one, big family. And when one of your own is out there basically supporting someone that's attacking one of your own people, it's sort of like you're stabbing your brother in the back. So that alone irritated me and made me not like Chris Monez. Not because he's a Trump supporter, but the fact that he was willing to, basically throw one of his own or one of your own brothers under the bus for a statement that's not even true. But then there was another tweet that he posted, which said simply, quote, WWG 1WGA, let's go. And that was tweeted on August 28th, 2020. Now, for those of you that don't know what that means, like myself, I didn't know what that meant. Now, this is apparently a QAnon motto. If you don't know what QAnon is, again, let me explain it to you. It is, quote, a disproven and discredited far-right conspiracy theory alleging that a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles is running a global child sex trafficking ring and plotting against U.S. President Donald Trump, who is fighting the cabal. And this is apparently so bad to the point where the FBI published a report saying that this conspiracy theory, it could be a potential source of domestic terrorism. Now, the reason why I'm saying this to you, the reason I'm giving you the definition of it and everything like that, is so we can put this into context. Having one of your own from the NASCAR garage come out and say a motto that represents something that the FBI calls domestic terrorism, yeah, it's not a good look for you or your team. So Hendrick Motorsports, I think they had to fire him. And so they did. Honestly, my thoughts, don't really care. I mean, again, I didn't really like him because of the Bubba Wallace tweet that he liked. Yeah. Bye. I think this is the best for everyone when you consider the fact that Kyle Larson is coming in after a rollercoaster 2020. If he's going to come back better, he needs to have good people around him. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to judge Monez, but when you take a look at his Twitter and what his likes and what he has said, I don't think it would be a good look to have a QAnon believer on your team. Now, I'm not going to dive into, my thoughts on the theory. I'm just giving you the reason why I'm stating this in this episode. I'm just giving you the reason why I put this in there as context for the firing. So do not come at me, please. And on to our final story. The driver of the number 38 car for Front Row Motorsports has been in speculation for a while now. After it was announced that John Hunter Nemechek would leave the team to go over to Kyle Busch Motorsports, many people wondering who would replace him. I heard speculations maybe Ty Dillon or even someone from the Xfinity series. Ultimately, we had no idea. When that has been confirmed, at first it was a report. Anthony Alfredo was a possibility. Well, now it has been confirmed Alfredo will join Front Row Motorsports in 2021 and will race in the Cup Series full time. Also, another thing to point out, David Reagan will return to NASCAR running the Daytona 500 in the 36 Ford for that team. Now, it's interesting that they went with Anthony Alfredo. Again, take a look at his Xfinity Series stats from last season. He ran part-time, 19 starts, 0 wins, 2 top 5s, 9 top 10s, led only 15 laps with a 12.6 average finish, and he had the best finish of third back in Texas. So you can tell he's a really good driver. Solid finishes, puts up good results during his short time with RCR. But at least from a fan's perspective, it seems rushed. Again, very limited experience in both Xfinity and trucks, has not even raced a full season. But then you take a look from Anthony Alfredo's side. People wonder, well, why would he take this job? Why would you, if you're clearly have very limited experience, why would you go to Cup? And I would answer that by saying this. If you were a driver and you had the opportunity to race in the Cup Series full time, would you take it? Especially consider the fact that it's Front Row Motorsports. It's not like it's Rick Rowe Racing or Premium Motorsports or the team in the backfield. Front Row Motorsports is a solid team, top 15, top 20 team. It has shown great improvement this season or last season over the high horsepower, the high downforce package. So it has seen a lot of improvement. Who knows? This could just be, and Anthony Alfredo taking this opportunity to learn while he's still young. You could say whether he's rushed or not, but I think this could be a good step for Anthony Alfredo. I do believe he's a really good race car driver. And I think if he can get enough experience under his belt and he can get into a top team, he could be competitive. So I understand both sides of the spectrum, you know, why Anthony Alfredo would take this opportunity with very little experience. But I also understand why people might seem, you know, he's being rushed into the series. I think Anthony Alfredo, he's got a good team, a good, solid team with him in the front row Motorsports. He's got Michael McDowell to lean on. He's also got David Reagan to lean on. Apparently, Reagan is still with the team with him racing in the 500 this year. He's got good people around him. He's a really good race car driver, I feel like. And so, on one side, while I do understand why people might think this is a bad move, I think ultimately this could be a good thing for Alfredo in the future. So I'm really happy to see him get this opportunity. And I'm very excited to see what he can do for Rookie of the Year this season. He's not going to, I'm not expecting him to do a lot. I mean, again, he is in front row equipment. Let's back it up a notch. You know, he is a really good driver, but he is in front row equipment. I don't think he's going to be to the likes of maybe John Hunter Nemechek and how good he was in his rookie season, but I am hoping the best for him and that entire front row team, because I do believe that front row is that type of team that is just one step away. You know, if they can just find a way, they just need to take that one step over in order to become a really good competitive team in the short-term future. But yeah, that's going to conclude this episode of Inside the Lines, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. But until next time, my name is JettMDK, and I'll see you guys next time.